Now welcome into this video, and I want to focus on the second stage. And in the second stage I was talking about immiscible solid liquid mixture. No, sorry, I was talking about soluble and insoluble solid liquid mixtures. And in my previous video I did an analysis of soluble, and in this one now I'm going to discuss insoluble solid liquid mixtures. When dealing with the insoluble solid liquid mixtures, there are two major techniques we can use. Decantation and filtration. When using decantation, I want to do a sketch of what we are dealing with. When using decantation, I'm going to have my beaker, and in my beaker I can have a mixture of water and sand. And I know very well that my water will be at the top, then sand will be at the bottom. So I can have water and sand. These are immiscible solid liquid mixtures. So I can decide that to separate them, I'm going to take a clean beaker, then I'm going to pour out. This is going to be my sand. Then I'm going to pour out my water. So water is going to be in a new beaker. Remember, this is a beaker. Then water pours out. Then sand will be there. So what do I say? When using decantation, the first thing that we need to know is that the liquid can be gently poured out, while the solid remains in the beaker. Decantation is majorly possible when the solid is heavier or denser than the liquid. You have to take note on that. And it is not always applicable, because in certain mixtures, in certain solid liquid mixtures, it is not possible. For example, I can say not applicable. It is not applicable in separating certain solid liquid mixtures. We are talking about insoluble solid liquid mixtures. Yeah. So which type of, we can have soil. In a situation whereby I'm having soil and water. When I'm having flour and water. Think of any other. Why? Because certain small particles of soil will be suspended. Suspended in water. For example, I know most of you have been seeing certain rivers are very dirty. Their water is sometimes brown in color. So, in such a situation, you can't decant brown water. Because even if you decant it, the water will be still brown. So you need another technique to separate such, even though it is still soil, which is a solid, and water is a liquid. It is a solid, insoluble solid liquid mixture, but we can't separate them using decantation. Another one is flour. When you mix flour and water, or even starch, the non-glucose, you mix them with water. The water will become whitish in color. The water will be whitish in color. So if you bring a technique of decantation, you will not make water be clean or clear. So decantation as a technique of separating insoluble solid liquid mixture is only limited when the solid part that is forming the mixture is heavier. So we can pour the liquid part away, and it is bigger also. So if that's the case, what's the most known way of separating solid liquid mixtures? The most known way or technique that is always applicable in chemistry is filtration. Filtration. And it involves the use of a filter paper, a funnel, and a beaker. So, meaning, if I want to sketch, I can have a sketch in which now, if I'm having a situation where I'm having soil, so if I'm having soil, I'm going to try to draw it in a way that can be understood. I can have water like this. Then, if this is my water, then in the water, I can have suspended are soil particles. So the red ones are going to be soil particles. The red ones are going to be soil particles. That's what makes certain river waters to be brown. So you'll realize that the red ones are soil particles. They are suspended in water. Then so now at the end of the day, I can say I can have mixture of soil and water. So when I want to separate these, what do? I'll simply have my funnel. Sorry, let me use a black pen so that I use red for labeling. I'll have my funnel drawn this way. Then into the funnel, I'll put a beaker. Then inside it, I'm going to have now the dotted part will be now the dotted part will be my filter paper folded into a cone. Sorry, filter paper folded into a cone. Now the outer part will be my funnel. It can be either plastic funnel. Then I have my beaker. Now this is where I'm going to take this whole solution, then I pour it through here. So when that happens, when it is poured, what are we going to have? I'm going to have a situation whereby the water then it will drop down. But because I was using black pen to represent water, I'll have my water. The water will drop down. So this will be clear water. Then in the funnel, I'll remain with soil. Soil will be left there. Now, the key things that you need to know about filtration is that the substances that remain in the funnel are called residue. What are they? They are solid particles trapped by the funnel during filtration. Next, the liquid, this one here, that goes out, that clear water, is called filtrate. So it is the liquid that seeps, do not write seep, that seeps through the filter paper. Or you can say that passes through the filter paper. Yeah, that's a better word. Now that's how we can use filtration as a technique to separate insoluble solid liquid mixtures, and it is a very nice technique. So majorly soil will be our residue, then this one will be our filtrate. So that's how we can use decantation and filtration as a technique to help us understand how we can separate solid liquid mixtures which are insoluble. Thank you very much and have a wonderful time.